Yo, yo, yo. Miss Gray here. So, this is part two of the Divine Feminine Awakening, my experience with it, what I've kind of gathered from it, what I want to tell my other divine feminines, my other priestesses out there. Some of the, if you will, symptoms or just downloads, what I've gathered from my experience with this awakening. So in the part one, and I highly recommend, if you want to go see the part one, because the part two will make much more sense. And the part one was kind of more spiritual take, and this is perhaps more like more tangible experiences that I've had with this awakening. And so, going straight into it, one of the things that has happened is that I've stopped wearing makeup. Now, by no means, I love makeup. I have to show you guys, I love, there's two sides of me where I love kind of maximalism, this sort of vintage, earthy, gypsy aesthetic, little steampunky, a little Pride and Prejudice even. And then there's this side of me that kind of likes pink, glitter, kind of like Lizzie McGuire, kawaii, Sailor Moon type of aesthetic, if that makes sense. My favorite color for sure is pink. I just have to show you guys my spiritual makeup rack. So I put my spiritual makeup things here, and as you can see, I have this glittery, very non-practical powder brush, but it's just, this is everything. And just spiritual jewelry. And even the rack itself is pink. I don't know if it translates on camera. Maybe it doesn't. But, and I have well, now they're all mixed up. Anyway, I have spiritual jewelry here and just all kinds of stuff. I love these Maybelline, what are these called? Superstay matte things, although they're probably glue or something, I don't know, because they really don't come off from your lips, but I'm really a stan. So I love makeup, but the thing is, for some reason, I was talking about in my part one, about being insecure and not perhaps feeling at my most beautiful, but in my soul, in my knowing, I know that this will lead me to feeling my most beautiful, maybe even physically looking at my most beautiful, although it doesn't matter, but just for fun, let me put it out there, but because it is nice to feel beautiful. But that's not the point here. Here I go. See, so although I felt insecure about myself because I've been crying, I haven't been sleeping, yada, yada, yada. Again, go watch part one. But, so, and the alopecia and everything. But for some reason, I was guided not to wear makeup. I think it has something to do with the fact that I'm meant to kind of examine acceptance. Acceptance is the theme of this little series about the Divine Feminine Awakening, accepting yourself, embodying your energy. What's the truest essence of your energy? The most raw expression, the women who run with wolves type of energy. What does that look like to you? And in the midst of that, I've been guided to look at myself very bare. Now, I've always been very confident without makeup. I've never felt self-conscious of not wearing makeup. But I think because, like I said, because of the stress, the crying, certain things I've went through, now all of a sudden I kind of felt like I wanted to just mask everything, but at the same time I felt like I do not like it just didn't feel right to put makeup. Like I feel in a way more beautiful without it, although I feel more insecure than ever, which is kind of weird, but it's awakening, you know. That can happen. You feel like very polar opposites of emotions. And by all means, like, so this might happen to you if you are going through your divine feminine awakening, where you feel like you all of a sudden don't want to wear any makeup. I think this is kind of collectively happening. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think there's a little bit of a trend to not wear makeup, like to have very natural look and all that. Simultaneously, it can go vice versa. If you are a woman who, because I've always like embraced this type of thing, but if you are a woman who's been more, let's say, masculine, you haven't felt comfortable at all in makeup, like you're that girl who's never, plucked your eyebrows or never really worn high heels or something, and all of a sudden you get this urge to dibble dabble in makeup, like really like paint your face and like put on like more feminine clothes and things of that nature. So it can go either way based on sort of where you are starting from. But for me, it was kind of like almost like getting back to, I don't know, to my roots, and I'm gonna get into that in a way. But so this was my experience of not wanting to wear makeup, but it can go to the opposite way if you're someone who's never worn comfortable wearing it, but you've always kind of secretly wanted to, but you just felt like for some reason like insecure about it, like it's not for you, like makeup is not for you. And this goes to guys as well. If you are masculine, who them who've always wanted to wear makeup, but as a guy, you've been sort of obviously been made to think that you can't, and now you want to wear makeup. So that's one thing. And other thing has been that I've stopped wearing bras. Now, this was like huge for me because that is one area I've always been extremely insecure about, is my boobs. I've liked my body a lot otherwise, but my breasts were always kind of a thing. And especially now as I was freaking out, so look, part 2, but I was freaking out about my hair because I was experiencing some alopecia, which I'm, healed. That's what I'm manifesting, or manifested, claiming my hair is healed. But I always, let's say if I was intimate with someone or in the shower, I would cover my breast with my long hair. I would wear bras, mostly padded bras, but I started to kind of wean off from that, as I just throughout the years, but I was still not fully secure with that. Like I always felt like less of a woman because of my breasts, and it makes me really sad that I would like even look at my body that way and kind of say something like that to myself, that you're a less of a woman because of this. Like now as I think about it, it's so harsh. But I was kind of cool with it. I was wearing my bra. I, covered my breast with my long hair. But like I said, now I was kind of freaking out because I was thinking like, well, whatever this or wherever, because I wasn't sure where this alopecia journey would take me. And I was freaking like, well, what if I can't cover my breast anymore with my hair or something? But through that panic that I had, I kind of realized again that I just need to accept every possible possibility, because what does that say? What am I telling to myself really if I can't love myself in any and every stage of life that I'm going through, spiritually, mentally, physically? So I stopped wearing bras completely, which is so ironic that I stopped wearing them in a time again where I felt most insecure about my breast and my body. But I was kind of like just pushed, like, you're not gonna wear them now, girl. Because, I used to just put the bra on, especially if I had like stretchy shirts, like kind of more body hugging shirts, shirts. I would wear the bra and only feel comfortable wearing tight shirts. But it kind of, even not wearing the bra, it's almost like made me more stylish in a way. Like I look at the way I dress even differently. So that's one thing that you might be experiencing, is because I used to wear like a lot of crop tops and a lot of body hugging clothing. But right now I almost feel more beautiful, like in just like the clothes that I used to feel kind of most empowered in just don't fit me. And like, I don't mean physically fit me, but they just don't fit me as a person anymore. Like, I'm not so sure if I feel the sexiest in a tight dress anymore. It's like weird. Um and it's not because I'm feeling insecure about my body. I do still feel like I look like hot, I guess, in a body. Well, I shouldn't say I guess. I feel hot in a body hugging stress, but not really. Just spiritually, it doesn't seem to fit me. So this can be again vice versa. So if you're someone who's always kind of worn more, I guess, more uh, scandalous outfits, you might all of a sudden feel that you don't want to show your body as much, and you actually feel more sexy and beautiful. You just start to maybe think, what kind of signals are you actually sending? What is the reason that you feel more desirable in a dress, or that shows your booty and stomach and legs? Like, what's the underlying thing there? Like, is it for your own empowerment, or is it so others will lust over you? Whatever. I'm not saying any direction is like right or wrong, just different experiences. Or again, this might go vice versa, where if you always just worn baggy clothes, like more clothes that maybe more, I guess we can use the word frumpy clothes, now you wanna wear more body hugging clothes. You wanna show like your stomach, your shoulders, your beautiful legs, your beautiful butt, breasts, whatever. And you feel very empowered wearing those clothes. So it can go either way, kind of depending where you left, what was your starting point, if that makes sense. So embrace both. If you feel like you are being guided to embrace your femininity and your sexuality in a way that is more showing the body, go for it. Don't be afraid. If you feel like you are being guided to explore your femininity in a more, just, I don't know how to describe this phenomena where you feel like you wanna just wear more, just, I guess, the opposite of body hugging clothes. More earthly clothes. I don't know what would be the right word to use, but you get what I mean. So because of this, when I believe when you go through the divine feminine awakening, it's going to be either this like very just euphoric, you just feel sexy all the time, and you just look in the mirror and you feel like so like, oh, I'm the hottest, sexiest, or whatever. Or you can go through kind of these extremes where you are really being guided to dig deep. So a lot of insecurities that you thought you dealt with, or you didn't really even know, or you suppressed, or you didn't even know you had, will come to the surface, like the underlying, the root cause of, let's say, why in the first place you started to feel insecure about your breasts. Why did you start to feel insecure about your stomach? Why did you start to feel insecure about your skin? Why did you start to, you get the gist, your legs, whatever it is, or your penis, or whatnot. So those, you are like being, you have to like confront those things so that they can be kind of dealt with, handled with. And now going back to the hair, which I think in itself is such a spiritual topic in general, because hair is such a magical thing. It really is. So this message is perhaps more guided towards my curly haired girls, whether you are whatever ethnicity you are. But from my experience, I'm speaking directly to maybe mixed girls, black girls, you know, like, yeah, like people with, well, black people. So technical difficulties, because I have my phone on a charger, so it's like balancing act to keep it up. So you see, I have curly hair, like very thick curly hair, like it's like big. So growing up in Finland especially, you can understand Nordic country where the beauty standard has been like the blue-eyed blonde. And I grew up in a time where there was not, there wasn't any, not any, there was very little mixed girls here. Now it's like totally different, obviously, but back in my time, there wasn't that many, nor there were no YouTube where people would teach you how to take care of your curly hair, how to appreciate your afro, your curls, how to, actually this message is for all curly girls. I'm sorry that I even made it about just, well, it is a little bit geared to my people with ethnic background, but you can take this as a girl who just has curly hair. So I'm just trying to be like politically correct, if I'm honest, because I just I really care about including, I'm like sensitive to, that's like one of my biggest phobias, to offend people. It really is. So so growing up in here, in my time, there was no YouTube that people would teach you about the history of curly hair, why you are made to hate your curly hair, perhaps. none of this existed. So I remember I was ridiculed a lot for my curls because I would used to just brush my curly hair where it was like this sort of poof, and um you know, this doesn't translate maybe as offensive in English. In Finland, they yelled at me, tukka Jumala, which in English means hair god, which sounds maybe more, almost more flattering, but it's derogatory. How do you say that? It's like offensive thing to say. So they tried to make me, and I would hear comments like, well, she would be pretty if she would have like straight hair and things like that. Or she looks like she's been electrocuted or something like that. So, but I didn't care really. I was really strong, honestly, when I was young, because I wasn't basing my value on the way I looked. I was a little bit like perhaps awkward looking anyway, according to people. And I was more like a nerd. I loved like nerdy things, and I was really smart, and that how I felt confident. But also physically, I did feel beautiful, although you know, perhaps I wasn't the beauty standard, and I had like a big booty when I was young, and it was so weird to people because back in my time, it definitely wasn't the beauty standard to have like when you're 11, you know, 10, even like when I was 10 years old, I had like a booty, like bigger almost than I have now because I lost a lot of weight when I got older. Anyway, the thing is, so it didn't affect me then. But then when I was 18, I had this boyfriend who told me that he didn't usually think curly hair as he wasn't attracted to curly haired girls, but when he met me, he started to like curls. Now, I guess he tried to make that as a compliment, but obviously that's like a dumb, very idiotic thing to say, and it is racist, or it's ignorant, let's say it this way. And if you are, especially if you are young and you hear these type of comments from your boyfriend, leave his ass or her ass. You're not supposed to listen to that shit. Now, I was young. I was 18 and this guy was much older than me, just living in at that. Also, I want to like say a disclaimer. If you're really young, I almost feel like I don't want to like, I don't know. It's so, I'm so in offense, like kind of, how would I say this? Like I'm always like debating how much about like these sort of things I want to talk to young people, because I feel like young people are so free, like they don't care about these type of things. But you know, in my generation, these were very real experiences. So because I don't want to put anything to anybody's head if they're not feeling these things. You know how they say like some people think that the reason they make slave movies is because they want to remind us of that era. Like why can't they just make films about like Nat Turner, like more like Django type films, or just films about African kings and queens and things like that. Like why does it always has to be a slave film? So that's how I kind of sometimes feel. Like I don't want to put anything in anybody's head, but I just felt like this is something I want to talk about. So the thing is, something about that when he said that, it started to kind of subconsciously affect me, and I started to feel like I was more attractive with straight hair. Now, I definitely got over that. I love my